Hi everybody. So how to read your natal chart, how to understand your natal chart, and what I'm going to teach you is going to be different from anything you've heard, because this is not the way modern astrologers teach it. This is going to be different, and you have to have a basic understanding of the planets and the signs they rule for you to understand this. Okay, so when you look at your natal chart, you know is a circle, right? 360-degree circle that encompasses the whole sphere of human life, from the first to the 12th house. Each house is a 30-degree, contains 30 degrees, okay? And each 30 degree represents a sphere of your life, starting from birth to death, 12th house. Okay, so when you look at that circle, okay, you can start looking from the outside. You all hear those birds still flying around? Yeah, those are the migratory birds. They should have been going south, you know. Anyway, it just makes me want to cry every time I hear these birds. All right, so you look from the outside in. Okay, so first of all, you get a global picture first. Okay, because you got to understand that when it comes to the natal chart, there are levels. Okay, there's the level of the fixed stars. Then you talk about the planets, and then you talk about the asteroids. There are levels, and the more aware you are as a person, the more you understand these levels. So for someone who is not aware of themselves, you know, they won't even be able to understand their sun sign or their moon sign or their Mars sign. So if you don't understand those planets, there's no way you can begin to understand the asteroids, or even begin to, I don't even understand the fixed stars yet, because those are like way, you know, I understand it mentally, but actually I can't say that. I really haven't yet gotten a good grasp of that yet. So when you look at your natal chart, okay, understand that you're looking at a circle. Usually they have like planets in houses, and they have empty space. That space is not empty. In the reality, that space is full. That space you're looking at, where you have maybe your sun or your moon, and you see the rest is empty space, that space is full of asteroids, who are other energies that give character to the planets you're looking at. But like I said, that's a totally different video. So when you want to get a good grasp of your natal chart, you gotta start from outside looking in. So the first thing you gotta do is to look at the your rising sign. Without the time of birth, you can't know your rising sign. So you gotta look at your rising sign. Okay, there are two lines. So when you look at it, the first, or the highest top part of your chart is your midheaven. The lowest is your IC. Okay, and then you have the rising this way, and then you have the descendant that way, the first and the seventh. So the first thing you need to look at is the energies on the four posts of your life: the north, south, east, and west. Or maybe I can't remember which way it goes, but those four. Look at the energies there. Look at the signs there. What sign is in your midheaven? What sign was your IC? What sign is your rising? What sign is in your descendant? Now, it's not even the sign that I'm really want you to focus on here. Is the degrees of the sign. Look at the degrees of the sign. The degrees of the sign tells you about the planet that rules, that is the secondary ruler, or maybe not the secondary, that co-rules, or maybe that exerts their influence on you behind the signs. Okay, so for instance, I have Scorpio rising, and the Scorpio rising is in 4 degrees, and I have a Taurus descendant is in 4 degrees. So that tells you that my Scorpio rising is in 4 degrees. Number 4 is the soul number of Cancer, right? Ruled by the moon. So you have that number 4, which is moon. Across the way, you have number 4, which is moon, which is descendant. What does that tell you? The moon has an influence on this side of my life, this quadrant right here. And I'm going to show you how to interpret it. And then when you look at the IC, the midheaven rather, you see I have a Leo midheaven in 1 degree. And then beneath it, I have Aquarius 1 degree. That is Mars, because it's Aries. Aries is 1 degree. So that already tells you that I am a combination, subconsciously, I am a combination of Moon and Mars. Those are the 2 energies I subconsciously embody, the energy of Moon and Mars. That is the overwhelming subconscious energy of my natal chart, Moon and Mars. And then, once you get that, then you look at the sign on the cusp. I have a Scorpio rising, that is Pluto, right? I have a Taurus descendant, that is Venus. And then I have a Jupiter, I have a Leo midheaven, that is the Sun, and I have an Aquarian IC, that is Uranus. That tells you the secondary pervasive energies, the secondary. So on the outside, you see Pluto, you see Sun, midheaven, you see Aquarius, Uranus, and then you see Venus. So that is the energy that almost you bring it to the world. But the energy behind that is the degrees of the planets. Now, how does this help you? Now, remember that that is counted backwards, not forward, right? So the first house, you can first 12, 11, that's that quadrant, ruled by whatever sign is in the first and the degree of that number. And then 10, 9, 8, ruled by whatever planet that is in and the degree. Combination of those 2. For me, Leo midheaven and Uranus, and Mars rather, because it's in 1 degree, rules. So you see combination of Leo, which is the Sun, and Mars, which is Aries, rules that quadrant, which is the 10, 8, and 9. And then when you get to 7, same thing, 7, 6, and 4. Whatever is on your 7th house and the degree rules that area of your life. And then you do the same thing when you get to the 4th house. Is what? 3, 2, 1. You start all over again. So that gives you the overview of it, the general perspective of it. Okay? And then once you get into the inside of the planet, inside, because now you've looked at the outside. Okay? You've looked at the outside. You've looked at it globally. In other words, you looked at it from the outside perspective. You've seen what is the subconscious energy, and then you've seen what is the overriding energy on top of it. And then you get a perspective of what rules this quadrant-wise. You got to start from the outside in. So once you understand the energies on the outside and the subconscious energy that rules your life, then you start from the rising sign. Then you go back to the rising sign. And then the first thing you got to ask yourself is, what sign is on your rising? And where is the ruler of your rising? Whatever the sign of your rising is the perspective and the primary, I won't say it's the primary, but it's one of the overreaching purposes of your life. And where the ruler of that sign is the area of life that purpose of your life is being carried out. Does this make sense? So we got to do this slowly. So I need you guys to understand this first. And then we're going to then go into the plan, into the houses one at a time. Does this make sense? So you got to look at it subconsciously, get the degrees, look at it globally, get the signs on the cusp, and then look at your rising sign. And find out where the ruler of your rising sign is. So I have a rising in Scorpio. The ruler of Scorpio, Pluto, in my chart is sitting in the 12th house, okay? So Scorpio is about transformation, death, and rebirth. So where am I being transformed? Where am I dying? Where am I being reborn? In the 12th house of my what? Subconscious. Does that make sense?